Okay, so now that we've revealed to you the Alphabet voice wash system, we want to take it to you, the press, and you have any questions? We'd be happy to answer them about the what we are considering, at the Alphabet Corporation are considering to be the biggest advancement in washing yourself since the thing that the handle that you can hook up in the you take it off of the shower head and you can use it to wash different parts of your body instead of just stationary. It's bigger than that. So please, are there any questions?
Sir, over here.
Yeah, yes, you. You where? Yep, in the with the mutton chops. Yes.
Yes, mutton chops. That's me. How many different ways will the voice wash system be able to recognize the word for butt? How many butts does it know?
So we at the Alphabet Corporation think it's very important that our products reach as wide of an audience as possible. Specifically, there's multiple languages that it recognizes. 120 of them, actually. And additionally, being a company from a country which the primary language spoken is English, we also recognize 20 different slang terms for butt.
Oh, thanks.
Like ass. And
will the voice wash system auto update
donk.
for
wash my donk? That's a command that it accepts.
Will the voice wash system auto update for new slang that is created as the teenagers like to do?
So we actually have we have the voice wash. It's connected based on what we think as the Alphabet Corporation is necessary. We have it connected to UrbanDictionary.com, and as new slang terms for body parts are created, it's automatically uploaded so they can recognize what you're asking it to do.
Oh, thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah,
you with the powdered wig. Yes, you.
Will the voice wash system be portable? Because I would like to take it on the road with me on vacation.
Due to the nature of the voice wash system, no. It's a stationary thing you install in your house. It stays there forever. And you ask it. It doesn't make any sense. No. Next question.
Sir, we have to.
Yes,
we have to go. Obama's on the phone. Obama's on the phone. We gotta go.
Who?
Obama. He's on the phone.
What does he want?
I don't know, but he's calling Alphabet. We gotta go.
Is he just? He heard the news. He's just a big fan of the voice wash system. He's intrigued by the idea of a shower that washes your body automatically based on where you ask it to.
I don't know, but we gotta go.
This press conference
is
over.
The Bear versus Man cast.
Thank you for joining us at the official press release for Alpha. Yep.
Hello.
You're right. It's the Bear versus Man cast.
Shit.
A podcast about video games.
Shit.
Ryan, what is your name?
Stan. Womp
You
womp.
just scored a 0 on the SATs, my friend.
My name is Ryan. Nick, what's your name?
It's probably Nick.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Mm-hmm.
Hey, video games. What's your name?
Stan.
Stan. So, this is the Bear vs. Man cast. It's a podcast about Stan. Video games.
Shit.
It is September 3rd, 2015.
Whoa.
And this is episode 28.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Isn't that incredible?
I just looked.
Wow, 28. I feel like we just started doing this like 2 days ago.
We did.
Oh,
shit. Spoilers.
this is one of those regular old pre-recorded editions of the Bear vs. Mancast.
Yeah, no live stream this week.
Much different pace from episode 27.
Yeah, that was a hoot.
That was really something. I really felt like I could have kept going.
I would have, but everybody had to go home.
Yeah, I definitely had to go home.
Yeah.
And also you very specifically kicked us all out of your house.
Yeah, I did.
This is probably for the best.
It was.
But I had a really good time. Played some cool games. I also played White Knight, which is a separate category.
Those are
cool
mutually
games.
exclusive.
Yes. Cool. Okay, White Knight this seems fine. Like it was playable. It wasn't broken. I think eventually that guy will heal himself, and he won't have the walk speed of some sort of animal with a broken leg.
No, he's gonna be like that forever. That's the whole game.
Oh, it'd be a terrible game. Just watching that guy limp around trying to find keys to get into rooms.
Yep.
I don't know. It seemed okay.
Mm-hmm.
The setting, the whole press triangle to read the newspaper, and the newspaper is being written as thing happened in as a way to try to put some flavor into recapping the story, but
yeah, I mean that's a game.
It was a game. It was a game for sure. We didn't play the game we wanted to play the most, though.
Yeah, we fucked up.
We didn't play Dong Dong Never Die.
I got it all working, and then I sent Nick a picture of it the night before. I'm like, I hope you're ready for this shit.
You tweeted that picture.
I did tweet that.
You were like, yes, we're gonna definitely play this game tomorrow, no doubt, and then we didn't.
So we fucked up, real bad.
We did our best.
It's okay.
It's our first game.
It's our first game.
It's our first. It's my first game. Yeah. Well, it's just something to look forward to. For Extra Life, hopefully.
Yeah. No. We'll definitely have enough time to do it then.
For sure. Until you fall asleep at
11 p.m.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh. That was really generous of you.
I think you'll be up way past 11. I think it's going to be 2 for you. It's going to get real hairy.
Uh-oh. You're probably right.
Joe and we're in it to win it. I might fall down a little bit, and I might have to have a monster or something, but Joe's going to carry on through, just sheer force of will.
Is Joe a wizard? And nobody told me.
He might be a wizard.
He might be a wizard.
He's some kind of mythical creature, but I don't know which one. He's like a sphinx or something.
He may be... What's the thing that...
A manticore.
No, what's the thing that in Hercules that Phil is? Who is also Danny DeVito. What is that called?
I think it might be just be called a pan. Yeah, a pan.
Yeah,
right? Are you Googling it?
I just Googled it.
Yeah, was I right?
Yeah, it's a pan.
Yeah, Joe might be one of those. He probably has hooves. I actually haven't really noticed.
I never see him take his shoes off.
Yeah, he's probably also... I've never seen him with no pants on. He probably has the legs of a goat.
You're probably right, dude. Oh, shit, Joe's a pan. It's canon.
Oh, man. How's his flute playing ability? You ever seen him try?
No. No, I haven't.
It's canon.
It's canon.
It's canon. It's canon. Okay.
I just tweeted Joe's a pan.
We didn't play any video games this week.
I did. Fuck you.
Oh, you played a video game.
I played 2.
But you're not going to talk about one of them, so it doesn't count.
That's true. I'm not.
Besides the Metal Gear Solid 5, you're just so amped up for playing more Metal Gear Solid 5.
I am.
How you doing? How you been? You right?
Fine. I've been okay.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's Pincho.
He's okay. He's good.
Is he sleeping?
No, he was playing with his ball earlier. He got a new ball. He's very excited.
Okay, he's just gonna tucker himself out and fall asleep.
Probably. He's probably asleep right now.
That's cool.
Yeah. He's probably...
Yeah, it's past his doggy bedtime.
He is doggy bedtime. Although he might go outside and start barking at the darkness. His favorite activity.
He does like to do that a lot. Also, when there's people in the house that he doesn't know, he'll just bark at them.
Yep.
Literally nonstop.
He's getting better about it.
There. I guess it was when he was kind of still a puppy.
He's
sort of
7. That's how old my dog is.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yup. I got him after right after we graduated high school.
It's been wait. See, after you graduated high school?
Yeah.
We graduated high school 7 years ago. Oh my gosh, we did.
Better jump off a building.
I don't really know if that would solve the predicament, really.
It wouldn't, but you might feel better.
I do. I remember. I vaguely remember that. I remember when, when we were children, and I went to your house for the first time, and I was like, yo, what's in the fridge? And your dad was like, you can't go in the fridge until you've known us for 7 years. He just threw out a crazy number.
He did.
A crazy amount of years.
Yeah.
And now it's been 14.
Yep.
And just I do what I want in that fridge.
You do. It happens.
I really do. I during the live stream I made a coffee using ice that was in the fridge.
And he didn't even say anything. No. The answer to that question is no.
Okay, that explains a lot. I too am doing very well.
I didn't ask.
You didn't have to.
Oh.
I knew you were gonna. Yesterday I was feeling a little bit run down. I don't know. I was emotionally drained.
Oh no.
Mentally drained.
Was it because of video games?
It might have been.
Uh-oh.
It's probably mostly work. But I recharged, had 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep, which I never do. I usually clock in at 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Big differences.
Long day at work, but I'm feeling good because I've got a long weekend. I'm going away.
Hey, lucky you. Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going on my family's yearly beercation.
Beercation?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That sounds great.
And we're going to southern Maine. But tomorrow we're spending most of the day in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. And basically, it's kind of unspoken, but I treat this vacation as a competition between the family groups that compose my family. Mm-hmm. My parents, me, my sister, and her fiance. And we have a competition to just see who can get the most shit-faced.
That sounds great.
That's actually, or more accurately, who can visit the most breweries. And so I've got 3 planned tomorrow. We're going to try and hit 6 on Saturday. It's going to be a good time.
I'm excited.
I don't know what Sunday has in store for us.
I'm excited for you.
But the secret, we figured out the secret. My parents are renting a house in Maine for the week starting on Saturday. I can only go for the weekend, but they'll have a blast, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah.
But the secret we found is, first couple of years we went, we'd bring a bunch of stuff up there, including beer, and then we realized that we just bought more beer, and then we had all of the beer, and then we had to carry a lot of it home. So we do strictly, it is, what's the abbreviation that they use in Metal Gear?
For what?
Obtain on site,
procure on site.
Procure on site. Exactly. That is how we treat this vacation.
Okay.
We don't take anything with us, any beer or much food or anything with us. We just get there and we just start visiting breweries and getting growler filled and getting bottles of beer that they are limited releases and things like that, and we just make a trip of it. And everywhere we go, we just take a picture of the menu and just text it to everyone, and they're just this is what they got. And oh shit, that looks dope. We're gonna go there next.
Yeah.
So It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. Beer.
Planning on getting started at noon tomorrow.
I'm excited
Going
for
to
you.
Smutty Nose Brewery.
Is that the one that's a seal?
Yes.
I knew that one.
That's the seal one.
Yep.
Their beer's a little bit take it or leave it. That's not the right word for it. I can go either way on their beer. Some of their beer is good. Some of their beer is meh. But generally, I'm a fan.
Okay.
Brewery's cool. We got a new restaurant that just opened up called Hayseed.
Did they serve Smutty Nose there?
They'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's gonna be a fucking extravaganza.
I believe it.
But it means that I can play not as many video games.
Well, that's it. You're fired.
Even though I have a million portable games and a million iOS games, I can't play the games I want to play. I'm in the middle of playing so many games right now. I just started
games?
That I'm like actively in the middle of playing.
Yeah.
Like at least 3.
That's not as many.
I got One Piece Pirate Warriors 3. Haven't played that like at all because it's just as soon as I got it, there were just other things that took over. Like I'm gonna go back to it eventually because some days I'm just like, or like at like week blocks, I just go like, man, I just need to play a Dynasty Warriors game for like every free moment I get for the next like 4 days, and then I'll probably pick that one up because it's the newest one. But I got interrupted with other stuff. I got Metal Gear Fever a little bit.
Yeah, but not in like the good way where you get Metal Gear Solid 5 with me.
I have to.
I'm
gonna see. Okay,
I don't think you have to.
I have a lot to catch up on. I feel like there's Metal Gear things that I kind of missed, like playing 4. I'm gonna reassess after this weekend is over, and like if I come back and I'm just like, man, I still really want to play Metal Gear Solid 5, I'll probably just buy it.
You should.
But, like, I started playing 4.
Yeah.
So I think I might wind up playing 4 and 5 like at the same time.
What?
Because so I started playing 4 and it's like, okay, so my roommate and life partner, she watches like bad TV shows with like a bunch of political bullshit in them. Like that's all she's been watching lately. And I was just like, listen, I know this game is about tactical espionage action, and it's got like fucking crazy characters and like global political stuff and like Black Ops, like underground. I couldn't even like describe what it was. It's like all that, but like the ridiculousness of like an anime. And then, so I just like played the first cutscene of Metal Gear Solid 4 and like the tutorial, and she's intrigued. She may eventually not want to experience it anymore, depending on how bad I am at that game and how quickly I move the story along. But she's intrigued. And I'm like trying to explain to her what Metal Gear Solid is, and I can't.
Spoilers, nobody can.
I'm like, oh, so that's Snake, and she thought it was so funny. Like the difficulty select for that game is like liquid easy, naked normal, solid normal, big boss hard. And she just thought it was like the funniest thing ever. And I was like, oh, because she doesn't get it. Like she doesn't. There's certain things that she's just like, what the fuck is? And I'm like, it's certain things that I take for granted about the Metal Gear Solid universe, like the whole liquid solid big boss thing.
Yeah,
like everyone knows about that, but she don't. So when that pops up, like I don't even necessarily always explain it because it's just like everyone knows that shit.
Everybody knows about Naked Snake,
and so I didn't know to watch if I should watch the mission briefing or just play the game.
Of which Metal Gear Solid 4?
Yeah, there's a mission briefing. There's a mission briefing menu. I select it, and then I can select by chapter. The only one available right now is chapter 1 because I haven't played the game yet. And the cutscene begins with Sonny making eggs.
So I think that's literally a cutscene, like video player for MGS4. So like it's only good if you want to like go back and look at a cutscene you've already seen.
But I started playing the game, and it didn't play the cutscenes that the mission briefing one gave me. Unless they're going to be playing those once Chapter 1 actually starts.
Probably.
Maybe mission briefing, because Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes has a mission briefing thing that's a recap of Peace Walker. Maybe mission briefing is like a recap of Metal Gear Solid 2?
I doubt it.
There was like 3 different cutscenes that I kind of was like, oh, I don't know if this is the right thing. I don't know if they're going to show me this later. I'm just going to skip through it. And I had to skip like 3 times.
Man, I haven't played that game in so long I can't remember.
Yeah, that game's like 7 years old.
Yep. I think I got that with a PS3. I think.
I got that before I had a PS3. It was like my parents had a PS3 because they wanted to watch Blu-ray discs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yo, I heard this Metal Gear Solid 5 game, 4 game is dope.
Yep.
And like they got it for me for Christmas or something one year. And I never played it because I didn't play 3. But I've almost finished watching all of 3. And then I kind of get what happened in Peace Walker because I watched the Ground Zeroes, or I read the Ground Zeroes like recap. Something about the boss's AI getting put into the Peace Walker.
Yeah.
It's a bad guy named Cypher or something.
Cypher is an organization.
I like to think it's just one guy.
I mean, it has
It's
fun. Okay, so that...
Does that make it funnier?
A little bit. That era of Metal Gear is like my least understood because it took place during Peace Walker, which apparently was like a pivotal like plot game because so much shit happened in it, but I like didn't play it at all.
Didn't they have like a PS3 version that came out as part of a bundle or something?
Yeah, like I think
so you don't have to play it on the shitty PSP?
Yeah, the PS3 Legacy Collection was like MGS2, 3, and Peace Walker. It was crazy.
Yeah, and it was like playable on not the PSP, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I heard that game had claw grip problems.
Yeah,
big old claw grip problems.
Yeah, fuck the PSP.
My understanding of it is like the organization Cypher built basically the same as every other Metal Gear game. It was like an organization is building a mobile tank weapon. Make them stop, which is the plot of like 1 and 3 and also a little bit 2.
Kinda, yeah.
And it turns out that the thing they were making called the Peace Walker, they put the boss's like AI into.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Big Boss was like, oh man, this makes me sad.
Yeah.
And then eventually the boss's AI was like, no, I'm being used for evil stuff, and she like drowned the Peace Walker in a lake.
That happened.
And then Paz was in it.
Yeah, yeah. All that stuff.
And then she's really dead now. She's like super duper dead now.
Spoilers?
How long has Ground Zeroes been out for?
Less than a year, I think.
Less than a year?
It might be a year.
I think it might be a year. Either way, you only have to play Ground Zeroes, which has been free on like every platform. You only have to play that for about an hour to get that bit of information. So
it's mostly irrelevant, I suppose.
Yeah, it's really weird. And then like Phantom Pain takes place like 9 years later. I also didn't really understand. So the Ground Zeroes, which I've been playing, because that game is really good.
Yeah.
It's like from a technical standpoint, that game is just tight as hell, and is awesome and fun. Even though you're just in the same area, I can't even imagine how much fun that game is when you're not just in the same dumb area.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't fully understand what was happening in the story. But basically, Big Boss is like, I need to go rescue Paz and Chico.
Yep.
And he does so, and while he's gone, Cypher comes and destroys his base. And like they planned for him to leave to go rescue Paz and Chico so that they could destroy his base while he was away.
I think it's what's being destroyed is either A, Outer Heaven, or B, the first iteration of Mother Base, and I don't know which.
I also read part of the summary I read was something about how like, what's Big Boss's team? Big Boss's team isn't called Diamond Dogs yet, right?
No, that's his second team. The first team, I think,
It's called Fox.
I think it's the Fox unit.
So the Fox unit, they have the established Mother Base or Outer Heaven or whatever, or maybe that's the same thing. Outer Heaven is like the name for his base. It's like I won't like
Yes.
the general term of the base, and like this base is called Mother Base.
Outer Heaven is like,
And apparently they just straight up have like nukes there for funsies.
yes.
And so and then eventually, like, the UN or Interpol or whatever is like, do you guys got nukes? And they're like,
Yes.
no. And, like, literally, what's his name? Hal's Emmerich's dad, or whatever, grandpa. Huey?
Yeah, Huey.
Huey Emmerich is like, yeah, UN, it's chill. We don't have any nukes. And then he's just like, oh, yeah, guys, come on. Just come check us out. We don't have any nukes. You can inspect us. And he turns around. He's like, hide the nukes. And, like, right before they're due for inspection is when Ground Zeroes takes place. It's like, as soon as they're preparing for inspection, Big Boss is like, I gotta go rescue Paz and Chico from Cuba.
Kinda.
That's what the thing said.
Yeah. Kinda.
I'm summarizing what the mission briefing said in Ground Zeroes.
Yeah.
And then nothing of that matters, and then it's 9 years later, and the Phantom Pain takes place.
No, it matters. That happening drives motivation for the entire like resetting up of Mother Base and all that jazz.
Oh, okay.
So
I guess that does matter then.
Yeah.
Do you yet know why Big Boss was in a coma for 9 years?
Yes.
You do know? How quickly do you find out?
Immediately.
Okay. Don't tell me anyways.
I mean, spoilers you already know because of how Ground Zeroes ended.
Oh, is the helicopter crashes?
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, yeah. I don't actually. You don't actually see the crash, but I do remember hearing like the meow, meow, like your helicopter about to crash sound.
Yeah, so it's that. That's why. And then you're picked up.
And then he wakes up and he's got a sick robot arm.
Not immediately.
Oh, he just has less arms.
He gets like a weird hospital style prosthesis, which is just like a hook.
Oh, so he can't rocket punch people yet?
Well, not in the opening. Can we talk about Metal Gear Solid 5 yet? I'm dying
Is
over
the opening, is it pretty much that trailer that he was in the hospital? That was like a music video. Do you remember that trailer?
Yeah,
Like
no.
over a year ago?
Yeah, I remember that. That's the opening to the main menu. Like when you first install the game and boot it up, that's how the game starts, and then something happens, and then it's like Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, press options to begin.
Options?
Yeah, I'm playing on PS4, motherfucker.
Boo. Boo, PS4.
PS4, hella dank.
Tell us about the hella dank PS4 game you're playing.
It's called Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
Is it the Phantom Pain, or is it Phantom Pains?
I think it's The Phantom Pain.
Oh.
Implying...
Pretty, he's missing an arm.
Yeah, that.
Like, that's not even cool. That's kind of lame.
Yeah, well, whatever. No, it's good.
It's a good game?
It's good.
All right, there you have it.
It's good.
Ryan says it's a good game.
It's good.
Moving on.
Fuck. I'm so torn about this game because it's probably the best, like, third-person action game I've ever played.
The best third-person action game you've ever played?
Ever.
Did you ever play Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time?
No.
Yes, you did.
Oh. Well.
Did you ever play Dark Souls?
Better than that.
It's hard to get... Third-person action games, a broad category, is kind of what I'm getting at here.
That's fine. I'm I'm still gonna stick by my point, my opinion that it's the best game.
It's the best game.
It's the best. No, it's not.
Ryan, 2015. It's the best game.
It's really good. But on the flip side, it's probably the worst Metal Gear game. It has,
in terms of if you rate it on how Metal Gear it is,
it gets like a 1 out of 10. It feels
it's like on it. So it's got like 10 gameplay, 9 graphics, 9.5 sound.
Yep.
8.5 story, 1 out of 10 Metal Gears.
Yep.
It's the least Metal Gear of all the Metal Gear games.
Yeah, no, it is.
Okay,
so
I can see that.
The thing that bummed me out, wicked hardcore, is the opening sequence of the game, which they call the prologue, was probably like the best 45 minutes of a video game I've ever played.
Calm down.
That I mean, because it's so good. And then the opening cutscene happens, and then you get into the actual game, and you're just on a fucking horse in Afghanistan, running around, and it has none of that oomph and the suspense that the opening sequence had. That was so good.
How much does Kiefer Sutherland talk during the opening sequence?
A little bit. I want to tell you what happens in it, but I'm not going to because spoilers. And there's still about 1 billion unanswered questions that I have about that 45 minutes of game. But I'm assuming I'm going to figure it out, although I'm like 12 hours in, and I've barely done anything as far as story. So...
Yeah, I've heard that it's a lot of time in between story events.
It's really light on story. It's so light. There's almost no story thus far. I can sum up... If you were to be like, Ryan, just go tell me the story of Metal Gear Solid 5 for the first 10 hours, I would be like, okay, it would take me 5 minutes. It's so...
That's unfortunate.
That's the part that I'm like super bummed out about, is that when I go play Metal Gear, I want equal parts cool action game and wacky story. And I'm not getting... I thought I was going to get it because of the opening, because it was so tight and so good. But now I don't get nearly any of that silly story stuff, which is bumming me out. I'm getting over it slowly because they're starting to add a few more story hooks in at the point that I'm at. But it's like, oh man, it's not scratching the part where I'm like, man, this is Metal Gear and this is good. This is like, I don't know. This is like the dumbed down version of Metal Gear for babies, because there's like no plot.
Okay, I can kind of see that, but I think it's more like my interpretation of it, not having played it, but from what I've heard about it, it's I interpret it as like they made a Metal Gear Solid game in 2015, and it's this is what action games are now. It's like open world gameplay, like lots of gameplay, because people like gameplay. They want to get their $60 worth.
Yeah.
And there's a story, but it's not... They just made it a little bit less, like, constantly going all the time, like, bam, 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 bam.
Man, they should, though.
Yeah, because watching this playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 3, it's like... It's a lot of interaction, and, like, the times that you're just, like, walking around the jungle trying to not get seen is pretty... light. It's like they like the parts that you're just walking around doing nothing are pretty short in between, like, story type moments where you either get a cutscene or a boss fight or something that makes you go like, oh wow, this is Metal Gear. You know what I mean? Well, at the same time, it's like some of those cutscenes that they give you,
yeah,
are a little bit fluffy.
Sure.
And it's like, this cutscene didn't really need to happen. Like, this isn't really expanding the story this much. It's just showing you some character interaction. And maybe that's kind of just what this game needs, like, in between missions.
So there's not a lot of that. The two major people that you're talking to are Miller and Ocelot. Those are...
So here's an important line that I never picked up.
Yep.
That, if this is a spoiler from Metal Gear Solid 5, stop me, but, like, why are Big Boss and Ocelot friends?
They were always friends. Except for in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, first boss... Like, yeah, they're very clearly not friends in that game.
So if you remember...
And that's
which
as
you
far
probably,
as I followed his story so far.
Have you played Metal Gear Solid 3 all the way through?
No, I just told you I started playing it a long time ago, but I'm just watching a playthrough now.
Do you want me to like tell you what happens at the end of that game?
No, I'm getting really close. I've got like one episode left of this playthrough.
Okay, so I won't spoil it for you.
So I saw the site. I saw the fight. Like, he was kind of helping you fight Volgin, but I thought it was just like a soldiers, like a warriors camaraderie thing. Like, he was helping you out because it's a cool thing to do for soldiers to be like give you a chance at a fair fight with the Lightning Man or something. I don't know.
I mean, you're eventually gonna find out that why Ocelot is a good guy. Probably not in Metal Gear Solid 3. But there's like a lot of like in between stuff that happens between like 3 and then Peace Walker and then the other thing that came before it. I can't remember what that's called. The other one. Anyway, point being that Ocelot is in fact a good guy, but it's not apparent in 3 at all, really. And you might not even find out in 3. That might be like a later development. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about, because as of now, like, unless something really drastic happens at the end of 3, my understanding is like he's still like he's not like a dude like sworn enemies with you, but he clearly isn't the kind of guy that you'd start. As of right now, he's not the kind of guy that you'd start a unit with. And then come back around to Metal Gear Solid 1,
yeah,
and he's a crazy person who very clearly wants to kill Solid Snake. And I know that later, he not necessarily wants to kill Solid Snake. So I mean, like, it's that whole he becomes Liquid Ocelot thing.
Yep,
that's just really what makes him the bad guy in 4. I know about that much. I know that he's like still doesn't want, but like Metal Gear Solid 1, like he's not a big fan of Solid Snake, even potentially knowing who he is.
Yeah.
Then he's like, hey, you're a clone baby from like a really good friend of mine that I have. I'm gonna kill you now.
So, okay,
like,
so pretty much the Metal Gear games that you have not finished are all the ones that tell you why Ocelot is an important character.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, I guess.
So, like, in Metal Gear Solid 3, I think establishes his relationship with Big Boss after he becomes Big Boss, and then Metal Gear Solid 4, at the end of it, you kind of learn the ultimate becoming of Ocelot as like a character.
In which one?
In 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you sort of
in like a flashback.
It might not be a flashback. It might actually be like a flash forward of like I don't want to spoil that game for you either.
When does he lose his hand?
1.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so because you kill Liquid in that game, but then Ocelot's like, oh, sweet, a hand. And then he uses that shit. That through line of like Ocelot's like, you know, whole thing is actually super interesting. And once you actually beat Metal Gears, you should like watch a story recap because it's actually super neato.
I think 4 will like clear up a lot of the questions I have if they explain why. I'm sure something like after Big Boss died, he was like, okay, I'm going to go work with this other unit, and subsequently makes me appear to be evil, and then I become actually evil because Liquid Snake is a dick.
Yep.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
the thing I never realized about Metal Gear lore is that there's like 4 major through-point characters, and that's Big Boss, Ocelot, Miller, and Roy Campbell. Those are like the big...
When does Roy Campbell first appear?
Peace Walker.
Like Peace Walker?
I think, yeah.
Interesting.
He shows
I've
up
already
as
met
like
him in like the
green...
opening cutscene of 4, or like the chapter 1 cutscene of 4.
He's like he's like a Green Beret or something in Peace Walker, and you like team up with him and do cool shit. And then I think he goes away until
right.
I think he goes away until fucking 2.
1?
When he's the guy you talk to.
Who's the guy you talked to in 1?
Oh, he
the
might
guy
be.
You talked to in 1?
He might be. Yeah,
he's
he
the
might
guy
be. Oh, you're right.
And then in turn, well, I don't. Metal Gear Solid 2 spoilers.
Yeah, sure.
And then it turns out that's not even him in 2. It's like a computer simulation the whole time.
Yeah, that's a silly thing.
That's an awesome thing. The ending of 2 is so good. I love 2.
Do you remember why that is, or do you want me to like what happens? Because I can tell
refresh
you.
my memory.
So cause I just watched
they were trading him. They were like reenacting the Shadow Moses thing, basically. Like it's a computer simulation.
Yeah, they were trying to like recreate the Shadow Moses incident to turn Raiden into the next Solid Snake because they couldn't.
Boy, did that not work.
No, that didn't work at all. But
meanwhile, literally, Snake is just there on the big shell.
I think literally
someone else.
I think literally after Snake disappears into Alaska at the end of MGS1, Roy Campbell, in fear of like him dying, turns the Patriots thing into a computer simulation AI thing. And so the AI decides to recreate the Shadow Moses incident, and then that's why that whole game takes place.
Don't they reveal at the very end, like in the ending of 2, they're like, oh hey, these people exist called the Patriots.
Yes.
And then after the credits, they're just like, oh, but all the Patriots have been dead for like 25 years.
That was them telling you that, like the AI part that made the whole game happen was real. That was them revealing that to you in a way. Although it's not very clear.
But the Patriots are all dead?
The Patriots,
in real life?
The Patriots were always kind of dead.
Do the Patriots have anything to do with the Philosopher's Legacy?
The Philosopher's Legacy is literally a pile of money.
Yeah, but did the Patriots, like, make it?
The Patriots wanted to get it back. So in Metal Gear Solid 3, your whole deal is to retrieve the Philosopher's Legacy, which has made its way into Russia.
You don't know that, though. Well,
you don't know what the Philosopher's Legacy is.
But I thought the whole point of the mission was you had to kill the boss to regain America's good favor, basically. Or Russia's good favor with America. Because in the Virtuous mission, she nukes, or Volgan, and said it's her. She's a defecting military person that just like nukes some place, and it's like, America did it. And so they're like, okay, well, Naked Snake, you have to go in there and kill the person who nuked that Russian base and prove to the Russian government that we're not bad guys, or there's going to be a straight-up war, like a nuclear war. And I think Eva's there, and she's there for she's there to help you, but she's a KGB agent, and she's also there to get the Philosopher's Legacy.
Yeah. Wait, refresh my memory, you didn't get to the end of 3?
So far, what I'm watching... The playthrough I'm watching, they're at the part where you're walking through the escort mission where Eva is injured and she's limping behind you.
Okay, that's far. Okay, yeah. So you literally need to wait till like the final 10 minutes to actually figure out what that whole game is about. Realistically,
dang it! I was trying to finish it last night, but I fell asleep.
Yeah, you need to finish that so you understand who Eva is, who Ocelot is, what the Philosopher's Legacy is. I think that's also when the Patriots form as well.
Oh, that's important. I now understand why I was once told to finish 3 before I played 4.
Yeah, it's because all of that stuff gets set up in 3.
Dope. I'm kind of glad I didn't play it though.
3, I don't like playing 3. I
Yeah,
tried to
I'm
do it
kinda
the
looking
other.
at it and I'm just like, ugh.
Playing old Metal Gear games is hard, and because they're old, and like they haven't really aged super well. It's funny because Metal Gear Solid 1 has arguably aged the best. Because you can kind of go into it being... Because it feels like regular-ass Metal Gear in a lot of ways. So, you can... The argument can be made that it's arcadey. And so, therefore, it's okay. But
I think once you get into some gunplay elements of it, it really falls apart really quickly.
Yeah, because the gunplay in 1 is fine. It's like you press square to point your gun at a dude and you see the line and then you shoot and it's fine. But in 2 you can actually aim down sights.
We've come so
garbage.
Okay, so here's the thing. We've come so far from how gunplay is in games because there's so many games that revolve around shooting.
Yes.
That 1 is super archaic, but it's still valid. The problem with 2 and 3 is the gunplay mechanics, in the aim down sight.
Yep.
So I've noticed that you can aim down sight with your shotgun in Metal Gear Solid 3, but it's an aim down diagonal. You don't aim down the barrel of the gun. You see the gun pointed, and you're not sure where you're aiming it.
Yeah.
Because normal games, you'd look down through a red dot sight or iron sights or something, and you'd kind of figure out where you're shooting it, or you'd have a crosshair when you're hip firing.
Yep.
And that game kind of doesn't have either.
No, you definitely just make it up.
It seems like accuracy, they're kind of lenient with accuracy. Or the accuracy, there's a lot of recoil and a lot of bullet spread, I've noticed, but it's just you hit a guy with a couple of bullets and he's just dead anyways. You don't need that precision.
Yeah.
But still, it's it's kind of like how 2D games, you can still appreciate them now. You look at Super Mario World and you're just wow, that's a good looking game.
Yep.
And then you look at Super Mario 64 and you're this game looks bad. Because 3D games look way better than this now.
Yep.
But 2D games still look the same. So it's you look at those controls at three-quarters view, hold down square to aim your gun.
Yep.
And that's oh, hey, I remember when this is all that games were, and this is fine. And then you see them try and become modern, and you're nah, this just doesn't work so great.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the Twin Snakes?
I did, actually.
I feel like that's probably a cool game.
If you like how Metal Gear Solid 2 controls,
I think
the same.
I did. I think I did. I might not like it anymore, but
probably
when I
don't.
played it as part of the original PS2 bundle thing.
Yeah, Twin Snakes is fine. It's literally just Metal Gear Solid 1 in the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine. So it looks like MGS2.
Huh.
That game is fine. But I think at this point I'd prefer to play PS1 Metal Gear Solid.
Did you say that it's good? It's solid?
I would say that it's solid.
I think that game's pretty good. I remember playing it when I got that collection.
Yep.
I played all through the first one after getting a PS1 memory card. I played all through the second one. Try to play the third one.
That's fine.
The third one kind of holds up the least well.
That might be true.
Which is really weird.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really make any sense, but 4 still seems super duper playable. And actually, some guy I work with, just completely unrelated to me or anyone else, has decided he wanted to play through all the Metal Gear games.
Mm-hmm.
And he played through, I'm pretty sure, over the course, the past 6 weeks, he's played through, all of them.
Really?
Maybe he'd already played 1, and he just did, 3 and Peace Walker and 4, and was pretty excited for Phantom Pain to come out. But he said that 4 was by far the most playable, because that game's still pretty darn modern.
I still feel like in Metal Gear Solid 4, I had to push 3 buttons to shoot my gun.
I don't think I'm just trying to remember from the tutorial. I don't think I did. I think it was just like hold L1 and then press R1. Square was not involved, thank goodness. Square's like melee.
I think in Metal Gear Solid 4, you might have to hold down R1 to aim down sights, and then...
No, I think that was in Metal Gear Solid 3.
You might be right.
They switched it to the more modern L1 and then R1 to shoot.
Okay.
It seems to me like 4 is just... It's based on the controls for 3, but less shitty.
I know. I think in 4 too, you can choose a quote shooter control scheme.
You know which one?
And at 4, I think.
Oh yeah, I think I remember seeing that in the options.
But it's
menu.
not like it's not like Call of Duty shooter. But I think it might be like pushing the stick to run. And
is there running in Metal Gear Solid 4?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, I couldn't figure out how to do it.
It might be
the hold circle.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Because in Metal Gear Solid 5, well, I've only played Ground Zeroes, but Metal Gear Solid 5, it's straight up like modern shooter. Just
click
the stick to run.
Yep.
Left trigger, right trigger to shoot. Like D-pad changes guns. Our right bumper is binoculars. I think the controls for that game are stellar.
They're very good. They're very good. And for not being a first-person shooter, the aim-down sights shooting in that game is pretty good.
Yeah, they finally figured it out, which is good for them.
Yeah.
Because they just really needed to figure it out, basically.
And definitely Phantom Pain is a lot more shooting.
Yeah, I heard it's the most shootable game, like Metal Gear Solid game.
There's a lot of shooting that you do.
Now more than ever before, has just shoot everyone been a very viable tactic.
It works, yeah.
Because like in the first game, sometimes you go to shoot somebody and you just like you have to shoot a lot of dudes, and you just like the controls are not here to shoot all these dudes.
Well, in the first game, you actually needed to stealth because the game would spawn infinite dudes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't stealth your way through, you would run out of bullets.
The stealth in that game a lot
and die.
I choked a lot of dudes out in that game.
Yeah, me too.
That was like the way I played that game was lure people over and in the shadows and then choke them out and hide their body. Yeah. Instead of actually just trying to sneak past them, I'll go entering Hyrule Castle for the first time in Ocarina of Time.
Right.
I would just incapacitate them. But I wouldn't really ever shoot anybody unless I pretty much had to.
I find myself in Phantom Pain getting to a high vantage point and then using my binoculars to tag all the dudes and then just walk up to them. And if you're fast enough, when that reflex time happens, you pop them in the head.
I usually avoid who I can. When I'm playing Ground Zeroes, I avoid who I can.
Mm-hmm.
And if a guy sees me, like, you know how you get that kind of like that white marker that just like,
yep,
I think I saw someone over there. I'm going to go check it out. I usually just hide behind a crate, wait for them to come over, and then just choke them out. Or like slam them into the ground and then keep moving.
Yep.
And I'll trank people every once in a while. And then sometimes I'll trank someone so their boy will be like, hey, what up with that guy? And go over there and I'll trank him too. And I'll be like, and crouch walk away.
That game, in Phantom Pain, pretty early on, you get a SMG that shoots rubber bullets.
Last night I said to you, hey, you should get a gun that fires rubber bullets. You're like, I don't think those exist.
Yeah, and then literally like an hour later, I researched one. So, whatever. So now I just use that, and it's suppressed too, so it works out pretty well. Where I can just walk up to dudes, pop them in the head with a rubber bullet, and then Fulton system all of them.
Yeah, because they're tranked or incapacitated. Oh, I also noticed that, like, I had to shoot some people in that game last night. Shit kind of hit the fan, and I had to shoot a guy, but I didn't hit him anywhere vital, so he was just, like, rolling around on the ground, and I went over to him, and I just, like, kicked him, and then he was knocked out. Like, he had the dash line,
Mm-hmm.
So there's like Z's, there's dash lines, and there's like nothing because there's just a corpse. He had the 2 dash lines. He wasn't dead. He wasn't tranked. He was just like knocked out as if I had like not body slammed him, but like flipped him over.
Yeah. So in Phantom Pain, they identify that as stun or STN,
and so that's like good for Fultoning.
Yep.
Although if there isn't it something like if they're injured, there's a chance they'll die in the Fultoning process.
A lot of times there's a chance they'll die regardless. Like, most of the time I have, like, a 90% on my Fulton, just because. But, yeah, if like, you shot them a bunch and they're like, I'm dying, you might get, like, a 50% because when you Fulton them, they get skyrocketed up in the air and then probably, like, their guts spill out or something.
Is there any reason to, like... Do you actually just want to Fulton everyone?
There's almost no reason not to Fulton everyone. There is, like, a limit on like how many people you can keep in your base, but you can kick people out at any time. So like if you have like a shitty dude who sucks, you can just kick him out, like throw him in the water or whatever.
So there's been a little bit. So that game contains microtransactions, right?
Yes.
It's part of this whole system they call forward operating bases that I don't understand at all.
Okay.
Have you really gotten into that at all, or have they not covered really yet?
Nope. I think that has to do with the like Dark Souls-y-esque invasion mechanic that exists.
I think so. Yeah.
But I don't have access to that because I think you need to be of a certain base level.
I also heard that the servers are not really on right now.
They're not doing well. I think they turned most of them off.
And they turned off most of the features because it's getting to the point where like you'd go to load the main menu.
And you can't.
Contacting servers. Nope.
Pretty much everything you do in that game when you're online needs to be sent back to the server. So I'm not surprised.
What if I just play that shit offline?
Oh,
like,
I do
even
that.
when that shit works.
I do that. It's fine.
Yeah, because I don't necessarily... I'd be okay with like semi-scripted like NPC invasions of your base, but like once it's like other people get involved, I'm like, no, I don't really want other people in my Metal Gear. Like
it sounds terrible because it happens during missions. Like you'll be like halfway through a super critical stealth takeover of an outpost, and then apparently at any time someone could be like, your base is being under attack by XYZ, and I'll be like, well, fuck, I have to go.
They can have it. I have to do this thing right now.
Yeah. I mean, you can like fortify your defenses and like train your guys to be good at stuff and give them cool guns to shoot dudes with, but
oh sweet, I love cool guns.
Yeah. And then punch them in the face for morale, but I don't know, it's just that sounds like a terrible feature to that game unless you're like end gaming it and you're just like trying to min-max your fucking research team. And
I feel like if they didn't make you interrupt missions, or like the interruption of missions was kind of not a big deal, like it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
And then they give you like a reward for going back and defending your base, like more research points or whatever systems they use
or whatever. Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, this is a way to make more gameplay, and gameplay is not a bad thing.
If they did that, that'd be better.
Like, they just need to feed you with like a little bit of. I think they just need to feed you with more story.
Yeah.
Like, the gameplay seems solid.
It's very solid.
There's a lot of it, and I heard that the mission diversity is pretty good. Even in Ground Zeroes, like 4 different missions on the same base.
Yep.
All feel very different and are very interesting and engaging, and I want to do all of them. Like I've even started doing them like again because there's like a secret objective in each one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I don't.
Yeah,
even though it's just the same dumb
like
base, it's kind of actually
bigger.
refreshing having the same dumb base because I know where everything is, kind of.
So that's the thing, is the open world part of this is big, and it's not necessarily it to the game's favor either. There's like a lot of empty space,
like blank space. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I get it. You're in like the fucking desert of Afghanistan. Like, I get that.
How many times have you gone to select a mission?
Yeah,
which they call them episodes.
They do. Yeah.
There's like episodes and sub episodes or something.
The side ops are not listed
Side
as
ops.
are not listed
okay.
as episodes. They're just listed as side op 1.
Of all the missions you've done, including side ops, because I'm assuming you're doing the side ops too.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah.
How many times have they just like you've selected the mission and they're just like okay, and they put you in a because they section off parts of the map to do the mission, right?
Yep.
How many times do they put you like basically in the same area in like a different point with a different objective? Like this kind of like that Ground Zero syndrome of like they put you back in the base in a different situation under different circumstances. Like how many times have you experienced that like while you were in Afghanistan? Are you still in Afghanistan?
I'm still in Afghanistan.
So how many times have you experienced that so far?
Once.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so the actual area of Afghanistan is fucking huge. Like, it would probably to like if you weren't in a mission and you just wanted to like free ball run it from one side of the country to the other, it would probably take you like a literal few hours to like just fucking run around along the road to get to the other side. So what ends up happening is you like complete a mission and then you hop in your helicopter and then you tell the helicopter to take you to the next mission. That's pretty much what ends up happening.
What if you rode a horse?
You can. It still takes a long time.
What if you rode a D horse?
A little bit less time.
Is that really his name?
Yeah, his name's D Horse. I think it stands for Diamond Horse.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah.
At first I was like, D Horse, what a stupid name. And then Diamond Horse?
I think that's what it stands for. Yeah.
It's a little bit.
Spoilers, you get a dog.
Yeah, I know about Diamond Dog.
Diamond Dog, DD. Fucking tight.
Does he just wear the eye patch, or does he actually have an eye missing?
He comes. The puppy form of him comes with a missing eye. I actually haven't gotten him to like full blown buddy status. That's what they call them. Like your horse. Your horse is a buddy.
Yeah, you bring one buddy with you, right?
Yep.
Do you have Quiet yet?
I just did the story mission that got her to my base. So, but she's not available as a buddy yet. She's a weird lady.
I hope they add lots of interesting buddies from past Metal Gear lore.
From what I've heard, that happens. So
awesome.
Yeah, but
still hoping secret final unlockable buddy is a young Solid Snake.
Probably not.
I want it to happen. Fund it, David Hayter.
Fucking the story mission I did to acquire Quiet was really good.
It sounds like that game is really good.
It is really good. That was probably the moment where I was like, okay, I bet you there's more story in here. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I could totally see how these first like 10 hours or so are literally Big Boss building up Mother Base because he has to build up Mother Base, and I could see that being like the quote-unquote story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For the first 10 hours, yeah.
Yeah, like, I imagine at some point there's another area, or in like another country even, that I have to go to.
So here's the thing about 2015. I touched on this before, but like, to release a Metal Gear Solid... You look at a Metal Gear Solid game, is a third-person action game.
Yeah.
An extremely linear third-person action game.
Yep.
People just don't make those anymore.
No.
And I think if anyone could get away with making it, it was...
Hideo Kojima.
Hideo Kojima and Team Fox, whatever.
Kojima Productions, I think.
Is that what they call themselves now?
I think so. Yeah.
I think you're right.
I think I'm right, too.
If anyone could get away with it, it's definitely them.
Yep.
And they could have easily just made the fifth game just like the fourth game, but like kept the modern controls and everything and dropped the open world thing.
Yeah.
But I think they, from what I can tell, they have created like a whole new style of open world game. Like not like really a subgenre, but they brought new life to open world that didn't exist before, really, or didn't exist in the same way.
So you didn't play The Witcher 3, right? Like at all?
No.
Not
even a little.
This reminds me of that in a lot of ways. Just based on how the open world works, and it's a little bit less NPC focused, but just the way of like you walk up to a thing and sometimes you start a new side up just because you're in an area kind of thing reminds me a lot of how The Witcher plays. So it's
That's cool.
definitely, that's sort of the direction of open world games in 2015 and beyond, of like where they're going, which I'm looking forward to, because I don't particularly care for open world games a la like 2013. They just seem like super dense and in like a bad way. It's just like it's like the new Collectathon from like the 90s, except it's fucking
Fulton every dude.
Eagle points and fucking Assassin's Creed shit.
Ugh. Well, yeah, I mean, if they do it in a way, as long as the gameplay remains fun,
Yep.
that's what really matters. I mean, I think all these Assassin's Creed games, the idea is, it was a good idea.
Yes.
But after, like, the same game that's just, like, the same kind of controls, different
Right.
setting,
Right.
but just, like, collect all the same stuff, is like, this isn't fun anymore.
Right, I did this
But-
once. I'll
but
take a new game, please.
But since Metal Gear Solid only comes out every 5 years, like, you couldn't, like, next year you couldn't have Metal Gear Solid 6 and it'd be, like, the same system, virtually, but, like, a different story.
That'd be terrible.
And you'd be like, I don't want to play necessarily more of the same game. Like, the controls are super tight when they first came out. Like, I appreciated it for that, and it was fun to go around Afghanistan attaching balloons to people, but I don't necessarily want more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, rehashy.
Definitely, yeah.
But for now, as long as the gameplay remains fun, I mean, I could easily see myself or you or someone else playing this game for like 30, 40 hours.
I think it might be longer than that. Like, I think to mainline the story is 30, 40 hours, and to like actually get a lot, to actually do a lot of the side ops and stuff, I think people are clocking in more like 70 or so. It's a big game, and the funny thing is that most Metal Gears are like 20 hours.
Yeah,
so
or
it's
like maybe
interesting
even
for
less
them.
than that.
I think you could beat Metal Gear Solid 1 in like 15 hours, something like that. It's a pretty short game in comparison to this, which is like, I know it's open world and stuff, and so those naturally end up clocking in more hours. But for a Metal Gear game, you know, it's like easily twice as long, if not closer to 3, than a typical Metal Gear.
Yeah, I think, you know, some people, there's that line. I talked before about getting the bang for your buck that people want in 2015. I think we may have spoken about that before, about how, like, people want, like, oh, well, only an 8-hour story. Like, what a waste of $60.
Yeah. Yeah.
People want extra gameplay from their game. So, to them, they're, like, some people consider getting a good deal to get a lot of gameplay, but, you know, people like us, or somewhere in between those extremes,
Right.
we don't have all the time to devote to those games, and we kind of need that medium
Yeah, definitely.
of, like, I think this game might be straddling the line of, like, am I really getting what I want from this game for how long I'm playing it? Like, it's fun, but I need some story, or I'm going to feel like I'm just wasting my time that I could be spent playing a shorter game that's more fulfilling.
Maybe. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's on that line. I think, you know what I mean?
For me, this is probably, it's going to fall in like one of two places. It's going to be number 1 on my list, or like number 10 for like game of the year. I haven't decided yet.
So apparently, I'm on my second favorite website in the world, howlongtobeat.com.
Mm-hmm.
So Peace Walker, here, where should we start? Let's start at 1 here. Apparently 1, main story, 11.5 hours, main plus extra, 12.5 hours, because there wasn't really anything extra to do there.
Not a
really.
lot. Not a lot.
2, main story, 13 hours, main plus extra, 14.5. Kind of the same deal.
Yeah.
3, 16, main story, main plus extra, 19.
Yeah.
Which is, they're getting kind of longer and longer here. 4 is 18.5 and 21.5.
Right.
With a completionist of only 26.5.
Mm-hmm.
Peace Walker is 18 and 28.5, and then a completionist is 91.5 hours. Although I don't know how many that's based off of. Apparently, 5 is main story 25.5 hours, main plus extra 50 hours.
That's not that seems right. There, from what I can tell, I think there's 50 story missions that you can just like blow right through. And for me, they've all taken about an hour, so that kind of. I don't know if that lines up. Yeah, I don't know if that lines up. Maybe I'm just taking a long time to do them, but I don't know. Maybe there's some shorter ones in the middle there that I haven't gotten to, because all of these ones, it's like, okay, you're going to go to a thing, you're going to find all the dudes, you're going to take out all the dudes, and then you're going to find a thing, and blah, blah, blah. And that usually ends up taking me somewhere between, like, 40 minutes and an hour. And so I'm wondering if the game, all of a sudden, you get to a part, and there's a lot of condensed, quick, like, episodes somewhere in the middle there. I'm not sure. Or maybe I'm just maybe I'm shitty.
Well, that's kind of interesting, because as linear as the other ones were, it was a lot of the other games were like broken up into gameplay segments. They just didn't call them missions.
Yeah, there were definitely like arcs to like the story that sort of defined segments of those games for sure.
Yeah, so it'd be like you get to Groznygrad or whatever in the third game, and it'd be like infiltrate Groznygrad and find this guy.
Right.
And every time you called the major, he'd be like, "You're in Groznygrad to find this guy."
Do it.
And it's basically a mission. It's basically a mission you selected from a list, and they put you outside Groznygrad and gave you an objective. But instead, is presented to you in a linear fashion. So Metal Gear may have, the whole time, just been a series of, like, missions picked from a list. They just hid that list from you.
Maybe. Yeah.
With kind of the illusion of free-roaming choice. But ultimately, you were pretty much, by walking to the next room, you were just pressing down and A to select the next mission.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just had a breakthrough right there.
It's a thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Might be true. Yeah.
Because whatever, those games are awesome.
Yeah, man.
Can we take a break?
Yes.
Unless, well, actually, here, why don't you? So, like, Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay.
You enjoying it so far?
For the most part. I've had a couple of frustrating missions where, like, I haven't been a good boy and Fultoning everybody and doing all my research, so I couldn't, like, blow up the tank that I needed to blow up, and now I had to go, like, grind for money and dudes to research.
You couldn't
stuff.
like secure any C4 or like a rocket launcher on site or anything.
I had C4, but like it didn't work out.
So I had to blow up in Ground Zeroes. I did this mission where I had to blow up a bunch of anti-air batteries. And I was like, oh, okay. And I blew them up and like extracted this guy, and like I had C4 on all of them, and I almost got detected. So I blew up the first one, and then it took some of the heat off of me. I put them on alert, but it was like, it was a risk I was willing to take. I went for it. And then I had it on the last two, and I extracted the guy, and I was standing by the helicopter, and I was like, I'm going to blow this shit up and just get in my helicopter and ride away like a badass. Yeah. And then it turned out that they brought in like an armored tank that I had to destroy because that was going to shoot down the airplanes or whatever that time. Mm-hmm. And it made me sad, and I had to go in there and blow it up. I eventually blew it up by... It wound up, like, driving around in a circle. And so I wound up just, like, figuring out where it was driving, and I just put, like, 4 C4 on the ground on top of each other, and then hid behind a wall and waited for it to drive past and just blew it up.
I might try that.
So, I did if it's doing, like, a circuit of any kind, then you know where it's going to go. You can easily just do that.
I did end up getting enough stuff to research a rocket launcher, so I can do that mission now probably. I think, was it a main mission or like a side op? Main mission.
So you get access to multiple main missions at once?
It seems to be in chunks of anywhere from 3 to 5. So like, I got to a certain point in the story, cool. And then it opened up like 5 more story missions.
Interesting.
I'm almost not convinced you have to do all of them.
I bet you don't have to do all of them. A lot of games like that, they have like a mission is a particular mission is like a trigger for more missions.
Yeah.
That they give you like 5 missions, but only one of them really needs to be done to get the next 5.
Yeah, like, I have a feeling if I would have done the last mission available to me at that time, I probably could have unlocked more missions to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going through them in order. Because I'm like, I want to play this whole game.
Because of a bad experience I had with a game that had a similar sort of structure, I always go through them in order.
Yeah.
I kind of want to tell that story. It's about Radiata stories for the PS2.
I remember that game.
The game is. I remember that game being okay, but if I played it right now, I'd be like, "Holy shit, this is bad." I think
a time ago I was like, Nick, this game is fucking dank, and we were like,
I think so.
15 years old or whatever.
I think that sounds about right. I think you told me about it first, and then I like beat it, and you're like, "No, I didn't even. Well, I didn't quite beat it because I have a problem with beating games." But
Me
you
too.
I definitely got farther than you did.
I
But
beat
basically,
that game,
oh, did you beat it?
Yeah.
Did you go human or non-human?
Human.
Yeah, dude. Screw the non-humans. Scum.
Right?
Worthless. Yeah, so, like, basically they gave me a list, like, you unlock a part where it's like kind of like a hefty prologue to that game, and then eventually you get, like, a series of missions that you can take through, like, a guild hall type thing.
Yeah.
And they give you, like, 5 missions, and the 5th one, if you beat it, it just, like, tosses you into a new section of the story that you can't go back and replay the old missions. Like, the world changes drastically. It's kind of bad game design, but and so like I basically did the 5th mission first because for whatever reason it seemed like the best one to do, or was easiest or something. I don't know. And basically I was only left with like, because you recruit, the whole game's about recruiting allies, people who don't know.
Yeah.
It's like an action RPG, and you form a team of like lots of different unique people. There's a lot of different party members in that game potentially.
Yep.
And although a lot of them are missable and like really hard to get, it's a very
like
Japanese game.
It's got some like Majora's Mask levels of like schedule keeping and trying to make sure you find dudes when they're available and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's actually the world is really cool for that. Like you had to do certain things to do favors for people when they join your party, and cool. It was a cool game. There's a lot of good ideas in that game.
Yeah.
But basically, I got thrown into a part of the game that was like, oh, this dragon is like attacking this place, and you have to go defeat it, and you can't do any other missions until then. And it made me like take this party I had of just like the least shitty people, and just I had to grind the crap out of I had to grind so hard to not die in one hit against that boss because I didn't do like missions 1 through 4. If I had done that, I would have gotten some more party members, some more experience. And I was basically stuck for the longest time with this, I think he's a priest. I think his name was Clive. And he was, like, the shittiest priest in the whole priest guild. And he would constantly just, like... He had, like, a really super basic heal that sometimes just didn't work. And then he'd, like, fall on his face. Like, he was just, like, bad. Like, no one would want to have him in this party. And he was basically who I was stuck with for the longest time,
and
because
I
played the wrong story mission. So now, every single game that gives me a mission list, I do them in order. Ever since then.
Yeah.
And just, I don't see any reason not to, so whatever. The game's good, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Metal Gear Solid 5, probably.
Probably.
I really want to play that game now.
Why don't you play that game, Nick?
Maybe I just get 5 and then, like, keep playing 4 as long as my girlfriend remains interested, and then if she's just like, I don't care about this game anymore, I'll just stop playing it.
That sounds fair.
Watch more Let's Play. Well, I'll just like watch a Let's Play of it while I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 5.
That sounds like a horrible idea because that's too much Metal Gear at the same time.
I was playing Ground Zeroes while watching 3 last night.
That's fine because Ground Zeroes is short.
Well, I was just kind of goofing around the missions, just taking my time with them. You know, there's a lot of stuff to do in that game. Apparently, I'm only like 16% of the way done with the game. I've done all the missions on normal.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what they're talking about. I rescued Hideo Kojima.
Nice.
Third mission is just like, rescue this guy from the base, and then they reveal to you at the end that it was Hideo Kojima the whole time.
Oh, shit.
Like a shocking, like, boom, boom. And it was like, oh, snap. And I bet there's tons of people who play that game are just like, I don't know who that man is. I have no idea who that man is.
Yeah.
But
Me
I
either.
do. I do. Is it actual break time now?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's make it quick. It's getting kind of late.
Yeah, it is.
Well, hey, sir, welcome to Tivana. What can I do for you today?
Hi, I'm looking for the store that only sells tea and tea-related products. Is this it?
This is it. It's Tivana. It's right in the name. Tea means tea,
Okay.
and Vana, it's because it's like Nirvana, but for tea. It's another existential, otherworldly plane you go to when you die that you just exist in just a tea-filled world.
What was Kurt Cobain's favorite tea?
He was a big fan of the Dragon Emperor green tea. Would you like to smell it? I'm just get the canister off the wall, and it's obnoxiously large.
Oh.
And I'm going to open up the lid, and I'm going to fan your face with the lid so that you can smell the tea.
No, that sounds terrible. Yeah, please do that to me.
Okay, here you go. How do you like the smell of that?
Wow, that's really pungent.
Yeah, it's got a really, it's got a subtle smoky smell.
I don't think that's subtle.
Yeah, it's basically just green tea and charcoal mixed together.
Oh.
It's really good for your metabolism.
Oh.
Or something. Would you like to get some?
No.
Oh, okay. What kind of tea would you like, sir?
I want one I can have for breakfast.
Here we've got this one. It's called German breakfast tea.
What makes it German?
It's from Germany.
They grow tea in Germany?
They grow tea all over the world, sir. It's a pretty not picky plant. The Camellia sinensis plant is generally agreeable.
Hey man, get that science shit out of here.
I can teach you all about tea. They made me watch 14 hours of tea-related videos before starting my job here.
No thanks. I'll take 20 boxes of tea, please.
That'll be 10 grand.
Okay.
This
Here you
place
go.
is not cheap.
Do you want cash? I have cash.
You really have $10? You have $10,000 in cash on you right now?
Yup.
So it's gonna be $12,000 actually with tax.
Tivana, it's expensive for tea.
We're owned by Starbucks.
Illuminati.
So I think everyone knows by now that we're back.
Whoa.
Additionally, everyone knows by now that I played PT.
PT what?
That game's fucking crazy. That game is awesome.
I forgot
That
how scary it was.
That playable trailer. I remembered how scary it was when you guys were literally covering your eyes because you didn't want the thing to happen next. Is it even scarier watching someone else play it?
No, it's definitely worse holding the controller. But there's also that element of anticipation, just being oh god, he's gonna find the thing that makes the scary happen.
So I really hope that. How did the recording of that live stream come out?
Good.
Did the end part wind up? Was that really that 10-hour chunk that end part came through too?
All fine, yeah.
Good. I would like to at least put the part where I play PT up on the YouTube. Because maybe just watching us play Rocket League or whatever and yelling might not be super entertaining, but PT seems like the kind of game that is very watchable.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I really hope that that game continues to live on in some way. I know that a lot of the Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro, and they basically said they're out, but I want the spirit of that game to come through Hideo Kojima and make he makes another game that, you know what I'm saying? If Silent Hills doesn't exist, because Hideo Kojima no longer has the rights to call it that. He just calls it like Hideo Kojima's Scary Presents Scary game.
Yeah, that'd be great. Sure.
And now watching that Allison Road trailer makes me go like, oh yeah, that totally is PT.
I want to play that game really bad, even though I'm just gonna get scared and cry the whole time.
So there's a Kickstarter.
I think there's a Kickstarter. Yeah.
Or it hasn't started yet. Ooh, that's a scary image from Allison Road.
Allison Road's scary, dude.
I don't know if there's any. It's headed to Kickstarter. According to VG247.
Mm-hmm.
So on the 16th of this month, or this past month, the Allison Road Twitter said, "To make Allison Road the best game it can be, we need your support. Kickstarter coming soon with some cool perks." But it's only 6 people making this game.
That's fine.
But yeah, so Allison Road is a first-person horror game that takes place inside of a house, and it's heavily influenced by PT, the playable trailer for Metal Gear Solid. Or no, I just saw Metal Gear Solid here, and I just started talking about Metal Gear Solid again. I just I was looking at Google search results for Silent Hills, and apparently there's a PT Easter egg in Metal Gear Solid 5. But
yes.
The picture for this Kotaku article is Big Boss driving a Jeep with his dog companion sitting in the passenger seat. He's riding shotgun with him.
It's a good picture.
It's a great picture.
Yeah.
Ryan, you haven't played enough scary games. You need to play more scary games.
Spoilers. Scary games are scary.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, they are.
That scares me.
We need to just kind of ease you into it. Like, I still think that the Penumbra games would be a good place for you to start.
I feel like I tried to play those games and I couldn't get through the part that was the game because it was hard. And then I got too scared to, like, work my way through it.
Yeah, it's got this, like,
I need someone there who's just available to be like, this is how you solve the puzzle. And I'm like, okay. And then I can just do it.
I can kind of try and give you, like, broad hints. Because
yeah.
if you don't already have it, I can give you a DRM free copy of the first game in the Penumbra series.
I'm pretty sure I own at least one of those.
Penumbra Overture, I think, is the first one.
I think I own that.
That game's pretty good, and it's pretty accessible. There's not a whole lot of scary stuff. It's just kind of a scary environment, and like, you know, it's very creepy and immersive. I mean, this is like, it's been like 4 years or something since I played it, but
yeah.
Man, did it scared me real good. It's like a super crazy, outrageously scary game. Like, I feel like PT kind of is. PT lays it on real thick at certain points.
PT is 100% like suspenseful corner turns mixed with jump scares mixed with just atmospheric nightmares.
I'm really glad that my apartment does not have a hallway to speak of.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
Like, I've got like one 90-degree turn, but like my bedroom's right there, so it's like it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have to be afraid of hallways forever now. Although I'm not the sort of person that lets like scary things I ingest like carry over into my subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't happen to me, except for when I was like a little kid. So
scary games are scary.
Yeah, I like scary games. Suspense is my favorite, and that PT was full of it.
PT is about 100% suspense.
And especially because I knew that like part where you get attacked by the lady happened.
Yeah, it's still a little scary because it's jumpy, but
I even saw a screenshot of her face. Mm-hmm. But my favorite part of the whole thing was when the radio is like the third or fourth time you're hearing the radio and it interrupts it, and like it was just like the creepy numbers, and then just like look behind you. I looked behind me. Like I just did that involuntarily. I just like thought about it, and I was like, I should look behind me right now. I'm good.
I think when I played that game, I ran through that part fast enough where that didn't even happen for me.
Oh, like you didn't even hear the first time it said "look behind you"?
Yeah, like I didn't hear it at all. I was like, no, the door opened, gotta go.
That's my favorite part because I didn't. It was the way it was said that the line was delivered so well, so scary, and I didn't want to look behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I knew it was going to happen again, I tried to back my back up against the door because I knew that things weren't going to come out of the door.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the way I moved triggered her to attack me.
Mm-hmm,
and I wasn't like it was obviously surprising, but I was like I knew that was going to happen, so I wasn't like super duper scared.
Yeah,
but got me a little bit. It was everything after that point that I didn't know what to expect. That was what got me the most. Mm-hmm. The suspense with like I didn't know if she was going to come back, and like, so good, so good.
PT is great.
Yeah, I hope that game lives on in some respect. I'm obviously very curious to know what Hideo Kojima will do next.
I bet you, like, literally everyone's dying to know, I'm sure.
And we won't find out for quite some time.
Probably, yeah.
Because now that he's not with Konami, he kind of just has to... He has no choice but to stop doing Metal Gear. So it's not even like, oh, he's secretly working on the next Metal Gear, and he hasn't told us yet. It's like if he's working on anything, he's probably already started some ideas going. Like
he's probably forming like an elite underground unit.
Because he could even be busy with like the post-release stuff for Metal Gear Solid 5. Like,
oh no, I'm sure he was
gone.
done working on that game like months ago.
So like even big companies that like they release the game and then they continue to support it. Like when the game comes out, that's only the beginning. They continue to support that game, and they finish developing the DLC that they didn't have time to finish, or either doing patches and balancing and stuff like that. And so that's really only the beginning of it. But that's not the case for Hideo Kojima. It's just like, hey, they're like, get out of here.
Yeah,
we're releasing your game, and that's it. So now he's just like, all right, well, I guess I gotta do something. Like, make a different game. And so he's probably started on something, or at least got some ideas going, but we won't hear anything. It's like when you're pregnant, you don't tell anybody right away. You wait like 3 months. That's the rule.
That's the rule.
It's like he's not gonna announce anything until he's like damn sure, especially considering who he is. But he also was doing some like signing and stuff. Like even though he doesn't work for Konami, he was like signing copies of the game at certain events and stuff like that. He's kind of been like out there. So I don't know what his deal is.
I don't know, man.
He's a crazy person.
Yeah.
PT. There's something I wanted to... Oh, so PT gave me, like... It's a Silent Hill game, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't know if any of the people who have ever worked on Silent Hill... It might have been Silent Hill in name only, you know? I don't know if there's any of the people who ever worked on a Silent Hill game working on that game. But I definitely got some shades of Silent Hill 4, which is a cool game. Silent Hill 4, The Room.
Yeah.
That the game takes place, like... There's two different modes in that game. Like, you go through this, like, hole in your shower... It takes you to another dimension or something, and it's like a third-person standard like Silent Hill game with like light combat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then when you go back to your apartment, you're in first person, and you can't leave. You just like walk around, and there's like weird stuff happening, and then like your room becomes haunted. Your apartment becomes like haunted. Like different parts of your apartment become haunted. And one thing that can become haunted is your telephone.
Oh, no.
And so the phone will ring, like, when you don't... Like, first of all, the phone ringing itself is surprising. Like, it's a little bit of it's a mini jump scare. Then you pick it up, and, like... it's rang. The phone just rung before and just had some like regular type of conversation, like some light story garbage and whatever through it. And then one time you pick it up, and it's just this guy like, "I'm always watching you."
Mm-hmm.
I'm always like he says it like 4 different inflections.
Yeah.
So it's not even like the same voice clip like over and over, like repeated. It's like slightly different, and it is the most unnerving thing ever. It just makes you feel like super uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's like something that the different haunting of different parts of your apartment doesn't even happen to you in every game, like every playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's an experience that I had that not everyone else experienced, which I think is kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
That game was fun. Although it's totally got Silent Hill bullshit in it.
Yeah.
Like super hard to unlock endings and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the one time I played, you said you played 2, right?
I've played a little bit of it.
Some?
Yeah.
I played 1, and I think I already mentioned this, but it bears repeating. I got the worst ending, but it's like one of my favorite endings to a game ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just so, here you go.
Yeah.
There it is. And it's like,
There it
awesome. No bullshit, just like ending. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil that old ass game because it's, I don't know. We'll talk about it sometime. But I feel like the statute of limitations is over on Silent Hill 1 for the PS1.
Still want to play it.
It's a little bit hard to play. And that game also wants you to backtrack a lot. Even if you just like kind of go right through it, it still takes like 7 hours. Mm-hmm. The game wants you to backtrack to get like new items and new story and stuff. Like the ending, the best ending involves like backtracking wicked hard.
Yeah.
In ways that the game does not tell you need to do that in any way. Like it does not signal to you that like maybe it's time to go back to the school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like that's some Silent Hill ass shit. So despite this week there being no news, we found some things.
There's no news.
And we have very little time to talk about them in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They announced an Xbox One Elite Edition.
Yep.
1 terabyte solid state drive.
I believe so. Yeah.
That's crazy. Are you
That
sure
is
it's not
crazy.
just like a dual?
It might be a 5. If it's an SSHD, that makes more sense. Which is the one where there's a flash memory and a spinning disk. It might be one of those.
I think it might be because a 1 gigabyte solid state drive that's kind of insane.
Mm.
And it comes with the new Elite controller,
Yep.
which is like an $80 value or $120 value or whatever.
Yep.
And the whole bundle is $500, which
Does it
that
come with a
thing's-
Kinect?
I don't
Probably
think
not.
so.
Probably
I
not,
don't-
right?
I don't think so.
Man, that's pricey.
I feel like I would have heard about that if it works for me. I just bought that 2 terabyte thing to plug in the back.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, oh my gosh, everyone has to get the 100 or the 1 terabyte one. But like the fact that it's a solid state drive, or at least partially, like in HD, like that's kind of awesome. That's not just your regular old like redesign of the console.
Yeah, definitely.
That's and the Elite controller. I think that thing looks really super cool. If you don't have to buy it separately, then that's pretty neat.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna buy an Xbox One,
It's normally 400, right?
I think they might have. It's
Or
whatever. It's whatever the PS4 is priced at now. I think it's 400. I think you might be right.
That's the no Connect.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to know if the Kinect comes with it.
I doubt it. I think they're trying to like phase the Kinect stuff out of that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I'm almost positive it does not come with one, which makes perfect sense because they don't have any interest in the Kinect doesn't exist anymore.
No. Yeah.
Whatever. I got a Kinectless one. I'm over it. I understand how it's like kind of cool to navigate menus and whatever.
I have a Kinectful one. The only reason it's good is because fucking I can never find the settings. I can't
you
find
actually
it.
access the settings by pressing the hamburger button over any of the panels on the menu and just going down to settings.
Really?
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, fuck, I can't find settings. Xbox, go to settings. It's like, you got it.
People may call that the menu button,
but
we all know it's the hamburger button.
It's the hamburger button. That's canon.
Speaking of systems,
Okay.
the new 3DS, not XL, is coming to America.
That's good.
Does the XL have interchangeable faceplates, or is it just the smaller one?
I haven't heard of these, so probably not.
I think it's just the smaller one.
That might be true.
So it's just this. It's like a little bit bigger than the original 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the interchangeable faceplates.
Yep.
Which seems pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But so far they've only announced 2 that are coming to America.
Yeah, it's the Animal Crossing and is it Monster Hunter?
I think it's Monster Hunter, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they just come with custom faceplates, and then you can buy new ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then, or even, there's plenty of people who are making their own, like taking existing ones and painting them because
That's
they're all
cool.
artistic and shit.
Yeah.
And then you can have a nifty looking 3DS that
No
I don't
one
have
else
I
has.
don't even have my 3DS I have a new XL.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure none of that stuff comes off.
No,
Well,
I
the
don't
back
think it comes off.
Well, the back part, it does actually, because that's how you have to put in the SD card.
Yeah, but it needs a screwdriver.
Yeah, but that's just for like you change your faceplate once, and then
I guess.
Because let me see here. No, I think it might just be for the smaller one, which is kind of weird and doesn't make sense. But I'm also not really heartbroken over it. So
Yeah, I super don't care. I have a new 3DS XL, so who gives a
yeah, once
fuck?
I got the original XL, and I'm kind of like, it's pretty much. I don't see any reason to get the smaller one now.
No.
Although having a more portable one, if you're into carrying it around, like I'm not.
Right.
If you're into carrying it around, then it could be actually worth it. But
Right.
I don't give a shit about carrying it in my pocket. So,
Mm-hmm.
let's see here. What else happened in video games? I know you don't care, but Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney 6. That's not what they call it in Japan, but they announced it. That's definitely happening, and showed some like screens and some like super early art and screens and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they've already announced it's coming to America, which is exciting because people actually, now that they release that as just like a digital game that doesn't cost them as much money to print out in America, they can actually do it and people can care about it.
Right.
And I think those games are super fun and cool.
Sure.
I know you hate games that are just story.
Yep.
Actually, I don't even think that's true anymore.
Well, I never liked the Phoenix Wright games. They were too hard.
I think, yeah, they've gotten better about that. I also think that you played them in a time where you really did genuinely hate games that are just story.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But I just like that they have a really wacky cast of characters, and they can get pretty dramatic, and it's funny at times.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just generally good, fun games. I like the world that they create.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that, because I also heard that the one that's like a spin-off back in time thing where you play as like your ancestor in like early Victorian England era, but sometimes in Japan or in some world, because that doesn't actually take place necessarily in this world. It takes place in like it's basically the equivalent of Eagle Land from Earthbound.
Mm-hmm.
It takes place in not America.
Yeah. Yep.
I heard that game is not good, even though you team up with Sherlock Holmes and his partner, Little Girl Watson.
Oh yeah.
I heard that game's not really that great. I don't know if we're ever actually going to see it on this shore, because it's not
Probably.
a mainline game and even less people care about it.
Probably not.
But yeah, I want to say they announced this new one, and I think this new one might actually even come with a charger now. This new 3DS. I don't know.
I doubt it.
I jumped back to the 3DS thing. I think I read
doubt
somewhere that there's somewhere that you can buy a bundle with a charger. So like GameStop is selling it. GameStop just announced a couple of like exclusive things that it's selling. I think they announced this at PAX or maybe at the GameStop Expo that's happening right now. It's like the white. You can get a white Xbox One controller that only exists at GameStop. And I want to say they had some bundle.
Is it the cool
for
looking one I
3DS.
saw that has like the gold D-pad and? Because that one looked hella dank.
They call it Glacier something or other, and the buttons are all like gray, but they have a little like a cheat sheet in the middle of them that say like, yeah, these are the colors that they would be if they weren't gray. It looks okay, but I don't want to. If I'm going to buy another controller, I'm going to get that Elite controller because it's an actual improvement.
Yeah, definitely.
There's some machinima. So the FTC filed a lawsuit against machinima that I'm not even sure if I want to get into it right now.
I don't.
So basically, they were receiving endorsements from companies and not disclosing that when they did like reviews and stuff. But we can talk about the dark world of game journalism a little bit later.
Yeah.
Before we sign off, I'm just going to tell you guys that now that it is September, the whole world of free games is available to everyone who pays a monthly fee to play video games.
That's true.
We're going to start with we're going to start by being underwhelmed by Microsoft's offering.
Here we
as
go.
always. So if you have an Xbox Live Gold account and you have an Xbox One, you can go online right now and download The Deer God.
Oh.
It's a game where you play as a deer. Literally, I was looking at... I downloaded it yesterday. Obviously, it's free. Why wouldn't I?
Yes.
And I was looking at the description of what the game is, and it said... One of the taglines towards the bottom was just like, live as a deer, survive as a deer. I'm like, really? That's what this game's about? It's like a... kind of like a 3D pixel model 2D. It seems like a little bit in the style of 3D dot game heroes, but not that exaggerated. Like the character models and some of the backgrounds and stuff are 3D models made out of giant pixels.
Yeah.
But it still plays on a 2D plane. It seems like kind of an action-y, like an adventure-y platformer. Instead of like being like a level 1, level 2, it seems a little bit like a Metroidvania thing, but with like light elements of that. I don't know. It doesn't seem like total garbage.
Yeah, it sounds
so
okay.
You can still get How to Survive: Storm Warning Edition, which is a zombie isometric roguelike survival game. It's like, a little bit Diablo-y, but not really. I started playing that once and I was really confused and I didn't have fun immediately, so I stopped. But I didn't really give it a fair chance either.
Yeah.
However,
Yep.
starting on September 16th, you can download Tomb Raider Definitive Edition.
Oh, good.
Remember Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider 2013 or whatever?
I think I bought
2012?
that on Steam for like $5.
That game is definitely worth $5. It's definitely worth $0 as well. But I'm pretty sure this game has already been free before on multiple systems.
I think the original version was free at some point.
I think I read an anecdote someone posted on Twitter basically saying that the original, like this Tomb Raider 2012 or whatever, is like the most released free game. Like this has been the game released the most times on free services.
Weird.
I think that game's okay. A little fun. I think that game is good actually. It's kind of a fun, not super involved, like third-person action game where you just kind of traverse the world and shoot some bad guys and upgrade your gear in pretty inoffensive ways.
Yeah.
Didn't really, not like game of the year or anything, but like totally a good experience. Got a lot of good like dynamic set piece action movie type moments. And some pretty solid death scenes too. Bringing back the death scenes with that game.
Yeah.
Probably worth playing. On Xbox 360, you can get Battle Stations Pacific and Crisis 3.
Those are games.
I don't know what the first one is. Never heard of that
of
game
it.
before. Never heard of that game before in my life. The PlayStation.
The superior console.
The PlayStation. Let's not get carried away.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's great, man.
It's much better.
Ain't nothing wrong with it except for the light up controller that is just like, kind of like, come on, why you gotta do that?
Why you need lights, bro?
Yeah, I don't see why this is necessary. Grow Home for the PlayStation 4, as voted on by the general populace, will be available this month.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan says that game is good.
I like that game.
I might actually play it at some point.
You should.
If you have a PlayStation Vita or a PS4, you can download Super Time Force Ultra, which is like the coolest game that I have no interest in playing ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good idea for a game. It's like a 2D side-scroller where you rewind time, and then each of you, like, you play through a level like via, it's like a super hard, like, Contra-like level. It's
Yep.
different characters, and you go in and you shoot enemies, and then you die, and then you have to rewind time a certain amount and pick a new character, and then that after image of the first character you play as still plays out. And so you can do some kind of interesting stuff where, like, one character will go in and clear the screen, and then the other guy can kind of go through and hit, like, the last couple of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, super cool idea. I can't play that game. It's not fun to me. Okay. Zeo Drifter.
The fuck?
It's just came out. It's been on 3DS and Wii U. It's kind of a Metroid game. It's you play as a little spaceman.
Mm-hmm.
You go through a big map and shoot stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that it's actually pretty good. It just came to PS4 and PS Vita on September 1st, and now it's free. I heard that game is really good. I almost bought it for 3DS when I was looking for a game to play on there, but now I don't need to. Seems like a good game to play on Vita, honestly.
Yeah, sounds like it.
A little Metroid game. I like, a little fun little indie Metroid type game to have in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, do you have a PS3?
Last time I checked.
I have great news for you. You can
Okay.
now play the Twisted Metal reboot
Oh, good.
for free. I doubt I'll even download this.
Yeah, me too.
I care so little about Twisted Metal. PS4 and PS3 is getting a game called Teslagrad, which is kind of a little indie puzzle platformer. I know puzzle platformer is a dirty word, but
Is that the one where Teslas go to die in their kingdom of Valhalla?
yes.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a game where you are a little scientist man and you use like magnets and stuff to traverse through levels.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might not be level based. It might be like a cohesive Metroid type world.
Okay.
I've seen that game before. I never felt the need to spend money on it, but I have been kind of interested in it. So I actually care a little bit about that game. If you have a PS Vita, it's only on PS Vita, La Mulana EX, which I don't know if you've ever played La Mulana.
Nope.
It's a super hard, like, Metroidvania type game that's made by like one dude. Like, super hard. Completely unforgiving, like in like Dark Souls style, kind of.
Okay.
Just like, oh, here's an enemy. Oh, you didn't know that if you whip the enemy, you just die instantly? You have to jump on his head? You stupid, and you just die.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's super obtuse, and I played the original version on PC. I think it's super obtuse and inaccessible. Maybe this EX version changes that. But I don't have a PS Vita, so I can't download it.
You can't download it.
I'm over it.
It's okay, man.
Yeah, whatever. I got enough games to play. That is it for the month of September, and that is also it for the Bear vs. Mancast episode 28.
Oh, shit.
It's really late, you guys. I was planning on working out after this. I still probably will.
I was going to play Metal Gear.
That's a type of workout for your mind. And
Probably. I don't think I'm gonna anymore. It's too late.
Yeah, just get that little extra sleep and then wake up and play Metal Gear in the morning.
Probably, right?
I should just buy Metal Gear Solid 5 and then not play it for 3 days.
You should, because that's how long it's going to take to download on PS4. Oh,
I'm buying it on Xbox
Sick.
One.
burn.
Oh, snap. Oh, seriously, I'd be buying it on Xbox One. Because that's
We're-
where I played Ground Zeroes.
If you look on social medias for Bear vs. Man, it's probably us.
Yep. I did a fairly extensive vetting process when I decided to name our website this.
Mm-hmm.
And Man vs. Bear is something else.
But Bear vs. Man is us.
That's us.
Please send us emails. We want to talk about you guys' questions. You can
About
the email address.
Ask us anything.
Anything in the whole world. Email address questions@bearversusman.com. We're on the internet. Come hang out.
Vine.com/Bear vs. Man. Twitch.tv/Bear vs. Man.
Yeah.
Probably not going to use that for a while.
No.
But sometimes you can go there and you can listen to Darude Sandstorm 10 Hour.
That's true. That's gonna do it for Bear vs. Mancast.
Ryan, what was that game you played at PAX East?
I played games at PAX East.
What was that game that was like... It's like a Metroid game. You play as like one of 3 characters or something? Oh man, it's like right on the tip of my tongue.
That's probably on my wish list. Hold on.
It's like only out on Greenlight right now, I think.
Vagante.
I can't wait for that game. That is like a cool game.
That's it. Done. Bye.